Hello, welcome to the Meech and Kolby podcast. We're here with our first episode. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This is my partner Meech.
What's up?
Yeah, and we're here. We're gonna be talking a lot of basketball today on our first episode.
Yes, sir.
It's Wednesday, the day before the NBA restarts in its bubble in Orlando. Meech, you excited for that?
Nah, definitely not. Yeah, I'm excited.
So this episode's gonna be mainly basketball, but you can expect more from us. We're gonna talk some football,
Yep.
a lot of hip hop too. We like that pop
Yep.
culture, some movies coming out and stuff. But
Comics,
yeah, for sure.
TV shows, whatever in the zeitgeist.
So we're gonna get started right now. Let's start off with the playoffs. How you think they're gonna end up in the NBA right now? So obviously they're in Orlando playing in the bubble.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get 8 scrimmage games, try to get back to pace, and the eighth and ninth seed, if their games are close enough within a game and a half, they're gonna play in that 1 game playoff to get that last spot.
Explain that play-in tournament thing that they're doing.
Right. So since they're only doing 8 games instead of the remainder of the season, so the Grizzlies have that 8 seed right now, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of teams think like maybe the Pelicans, Trailblazers can sneak up, maybe try to get that 8th seed. So if those teams play rather well in the bubble compared to the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies lose some games, and say within the standings it's within a game and a half of each other,
Yep.
and then it'll be a little one game tournament for who gets the 8th seed and who gets to play the Lakers in the first round.
But I heard like that the higher seed, that if they lose that first play-in game, they're gonna play almost like a 2-game series.
Right. Yeah. I feel like yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if that was a rumor or if that was actually true.
No, I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
And then out east, I don't think Atlanta's gonna get. I mean,
Are they even there?
Washington
Oh
rather.
yeah.
No Beal at all. No John Wall. He's been out the whole year, so they're just kind of rolling with Bertans,
I don't know, man.
Ish Smith, Rui,
Don't count out Ish.
and they're chasing the Nets, and the Nets are hurting a lot too.
Yeah, like whatever the 8th seed's gonna be, it's gonna be like a sweep for the Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks are gonna pretty much have a first round bye.
Yeah, and it's like it's not even any competition to be honest with you.
Right. Yeah. So what do you think? How do you think it's gonna end up in the West?
In the West,
Yeah. What's your playoff picture looking
well,
like?
the Pelicans' schedule is like dumb easy.
Yeah, they were having an easy looking schedule at the rest of the real NBA, so I think the NBA did a pretty good job at comparing them, giving them an easy schedule in the bubble compared to just randomly doing it.
I think it's between either the Grizzlies and the Blazers, but I can definitely see the Pelicans like taking advantage of that easy schedule.
Right, and which team do you think is the biggest threat to the Lakers in the first round?
Definitely the Grizzlies.
You think the Grizzlies?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Portland, just because I don't think we have any guard power to hang with Dame and CJ.
Oh, that's facts. Because they got Nurk back too, and Zach Collins.
Yeah, Nurk and Whiteside down there. They got some bigs. Lakers got the bigs too. I think out of the three, the Lakers would most likely want to play the Pelicans because they match up the best against them.
Oh, definitely.
Right, even though Zion obviously has a lot of hype coming in.
But I don't know. I feel like the Anthony Davis Zion like matchup works in AD's favor a lot.
Right, that would be a box office matchup too. Everybody would like to see that.
Yeah,
'Cause
facts.
Pelicans traded away Anthony Davis and brought in Zion. What about out east?
Out east, I think
You think it's going to be what it is right now, the playoff picture?
Well,
All those teams are going to be in?
I have a theory that the Celtics might try to tank
Okay.
because
Explain yourself.
we have to face right now how the playoff standing is we have to face Philly in the first round, and then
Right,
after
yeah.
Philly, and after Philly, if Toronto wins, we got to face Toronto, and then if we go to the Eastern Conference Finals, we got to face
Yeah,
the Bucks.
Milwaukee's going to be waiting for you.
That's a tough playoff schedule,
That is a tough path to the finals.
and I think if we drop one down, we play the Pacers in the first round.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys want the Pacers or the Heat preferably.
Yeah, definitely, because
Right.
we whooped the Heat all season long. I was there for one of those games.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So the Heat though, you think that the Heat can even go to the Eastern Conference Finals with Jimmy Butler being
Oh,
their best
definitely.
players? Yeah, if the matchup works for them.
Definitely.
All right. I think finals, you think that they have a chance to make it to the finals?
If the Bucks stay healthy, or if like whatever team goes in to the Eastern Conference Finals, like if like let's
Right.
say like if the Bucks get knocked out early,
And they play Philly or
yeah.
Boston or Toronto.
So if the team that they're playing in the Eastern Conference Finals is healthy, I don't think they're gonna make it to the finals. But if they're down a couple people, I definitely
Right,
think they
yeah.
could.
Because I think night in, they have Jimmy and Bam. They could be the best duo in the East any night
Oh,
out.
definitely.
But also, the East is a lot better than it has been in previous years, so it's going to be harder to make it farther, I think.
Yeah.
I see. I could see them maybe reaching the Eastern Conference Finals, but I think they probably need to add maybe another, not really necessarily a star, but at least a third guy to roll with Jimmy and Bam this offseason.
Well, we really haven't really gotten a good chance to see what Iguodala can really do,
Right, yeah, he only played about a week there.
and
Right?
plus like what's his name, Duncan?
Robinson,
Yeah,
yeah.
Duncan Robinson. I feel like he could really step up in the playoffs. Um,
Right, for sure.
they got they're a deep team. Like never count out Kelly Olynyk.
He has hit some big shots in the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah, remember he saved the Celtics against the
Oh yeah.
Wizards with back when he was running with Isaiah Thomas, and in Game 7, Kelly was just lighting up threes.
Watch them Brad Stevens open looks.
Kelly versus Kelly, Olynyk versus Oubre. That was a battle. But yeah, so who's your okay? So we're just gonna get down to it right now because the
Okay.
voting's already done. Everybody already has their voting in for who's the MVP, Rookie of the Year, all that stuff. These last 8 games at the bubble aren't counting towards your stats.
Mhm.
So right now, who's your MVP? It's either LeBron or Giannis, and give us your case why.
Alex Caruso, Defensive Player of the Year, Taco Fall. Rookie of the Year, Taco Fall. No, MVP is Giannis, obviously. Defensive Player of the Year, Giannis. Rookie of the Year, not Zion, definitely not Zion. Zion,
All right, I was gonna have to call you out for that one.
Zion had. I feel like Zion has not had enough of an impact, but like I
Right,
definitely,
he's only played 20 games.
yeah, like
Jaw's been there all year.
exactly.
I think Kendrick Nunn's ahead of Zion right now in the Rookie of the Year race.
Really,
Yeah, Zion's only played 20 games. I mean, is he even? I think he's around 500 in those games. Probably a little bit higher than 500. He did come in and help them start winning basketball games. But can't count out like Ingram,
yeah.
all those dudes. They do a lot of work too.
Lonzo has he's had a really like big impact on that Pelicans team.
Right, yeah. So who's your coach of the year?
Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse, I like that, especially when they lose Kawhi. They're still one of the best teams in
I
the
know,
league.
right?
Yeah, they're a tough team to play, and I really think it is with his coaching that really puts him in that ability.
I would not be surprised if they make it to the finals again.
Yeah, no, they have. I know they have that perfect team. They don't have any holes all around their offense. Gasol, even though he's old, I feel like. Excuse me. He could bang out with Embiid. If they go with Philly, he knows how to guard Embiid. Siakam, he's right there to help guard Giannis. Obviously, nobody's stopping Giannis, but you could throw guys like Anunoby at him, Ibaka, all those guys at Giannis. They obviously defended him well last year, but they're missing obviously the claw.
Speaking of Ibaka, didn't you just get in a fight down in the bubble with Nurk?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't see
they
that.
got tangled up and they had a little pushy match.
I wouldn't fight this man Ibaka. He's the Masufu chef.
Serving a bull penis.
I know Kawhi wasn't feeling that.
All right,
And then your most improved player.
that's a tough one. I think it's probably Bam,
Right, I like that a lot.
but like my dark horse pick is definitely Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, for sure. Because I remember when Jaylen Brown got that contract, everybody was like, "That's a crazy contract for the Celtics to be giving him."
Mm-hmm.
And usually when players get their money, we tend to see that they don't produce as much. But it's kind of the opposite for Jaylen Brown. He became a lot better of a player after he got his money, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys don't know, I'm a big Celtics fan because we live in Massachusetts. Colby is a Lakers fan. He's currently wearing a Lakers hat and a Brooklyn T-shirt.
B.I.G.
So that's where our biases stand.
Right.
So
I'll give you my rundown. My MVP, I think it's Giannis, best player on the best team.
Yeah.
Best record. They're obviously killing the East. Rookie of the Year, I'm with you too, Meech. I'm going with Jaw. But I'm disagreeing with you. Defensive Player of the Year, Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis.
I would go Anthony Davis, yeah.
I can see that.
He's been having a really good year defensively. He even said it at the beginning of the year. He was setting to be Defensive Player of the Year, and his numbers are great.
Do you think Rudy Gobert is gonna be in it?
Yeah, I think Gobert is definitely going to be that third guy because you know how it always breaks down to three guys who end up getting
I
nominated.
mean, you can make a really good case for him too, because he locked down like the whole league.
I know he ruins the year, bro. Everybody's in the bubble now.
Well, I don't think it was him, but like.
Yeah, he was kind of careless with
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I understand why people are mad at him. Coach of the Year, I'm going with, as much as I like Nick Nurse and what he's done, I think I'm going with Nick Nurse, actually. Yeah, for sure. Nick Nurse definitely in the North. When they lose their best player, it's hard to do that.
I
And
was about to say, like, you're crazy if you think Frank Vogel's coach of the
no,
year.
no, not Frank Vogel, man.
Like, you could probably make a better case for LeBron for coach of the year.
Most improved, I'm rocking with Brandon Ingram for sure. He stepped up when they let him be the man in New Orleans for a while. First time All-Star. Because last year in LA, he was looking better in LA, but he definitely needed that move to New Orleans away from LeBron so he could be the ball dominant player.
Oh, that's facts.
Yeah, I think Ingram. We haven't really seen what he could do with Zion yet, but I think Ingram's gonna be a really good number 2 guy to work along Zion throughout his career.
If anything, Zion, if Brandon Ingram keeps like this uptick, like Zion might end up becoming the number 2 player.
Yeah, I can see that for sure, And yeah, so that's what we have for our award predictions for this NBA season coming up. So there's these 8 games going on, and they're going straight into the playoffs. You think there's gonna be any upsets round 1?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You think some players are gonna come in out of shape, not ready to hoop? Some teams are gonna come in more ready.
Well, what if what's the actual like standings right now?
So right now, like the top dogs, I think it would be.
Well, for like playoff, like, you know what I'm saying? Like who's actually playing who in the first round?
Right, so the Lakers, if it started right now, Lakers, Grizzlies, Bucks, Nets, Clippers, Mavs. Rockets are playing the Nuggets.
Yeah.
And then it's Jazz Thunder out west.
I think the Thunder is going to win that series, definitely.
Right, yeah. I would say it's going to be a close series. I think both teams are pretty similar. They don't really have that, like, neither team has necessarily that star player. They both have their all-stars. Neither team really has too big of a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that going 7, maybe 6, 7. You
Yeah,
too?
definitely.
Right.
I think the Mavs, the way the Clippers are right now, like if people keep getting hurt and like leaving and like
Right, yeah, they are missing a lot of
going
players.
to strip clubs
For them hot wings.
going to hot Atlanta for them hot wings. Yeah, I feel like the Mavs could really pull the rug underneath the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean Luka just has too much tricks in his bag, man.
And that team is surprisingly deep. They're still missing Dwight Powell, but
yeah, no, they do have a lot of 3-and-D around Luka and Porzingis, but the only thing I don't like about that is, so if Luka's getting beat up by Kawhi, pause. But so maybe Luka breaks by Kawhi. Next thing you're dealing with is either Pat Bev or Paul George is your next defender on you, and if you break through that, you go into the paint. You got Trez down there or Zupac. So
Big
you know
Zoo.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Big Zoo, yeah, man. So I think that they could definitely, if the Clippers are right now, they don't look like they're really like as a team together. I think because Trez still isn't at the bubble, Pat Bev still isn't at the bubble. Lou Will just started his quarantine. He's not even going to play in their first regular season game against the Lakers.
They've never even played together for like over 20 games.
Right, I've seen that because Paul George missed the majority of the season start.
Yeah, he missed the majority of the season, and Kawhi doing like his load management.
Yeah, Kawhi already used all his paid time off. He can't use any more at the bubble this year.
I honestly think they're gonna keep that schedule, like no back-to-backs for Kawhi during the bubble. Because
Right, I don't. Are they running back-to-backs in the bubble? They must be because I know they're trying to get stuff done. Yeah.
I think so too. I haven't really looked at the actual dates on the schedule.
Right.
Yeah, but I feel like if the Clippers don't come correct, like the Mavs can really, like they have a really good chance of like taking that playoff series.
I think Porzingis is definitely a mismatch for
definitely.
the Clippers because
For any
I guess against anybody except for maybe like Anthony Davis and Giannis really are the only guys that can keep up with Porzingis
Yeah,
for his size one-on-one. But who are you going to throw at him? Trez?
maybe. Well,
Kawhi?
Montrez, he's a really good perimeter defender
Yeah,
because
he does
he's
bring
kind of
that energy
undersized.
too.
But I think that KP is like has like that quicker first step than Trez. So
Yeah.
you could definitely beat him up top by the key.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. The playoffs are looking real good. I got Rockets Nuggets. That's gonna be a banger of a series, I think. If they end up playing each other round one,
I got Nuggets.
Nuggets and what? Just off the top of your
Nuggets and
head.
4.
In
Full bowl.
They sweeping?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say James Harden. I don't know who they're gonna throw at Harden and Westbrook. Who are they
Probably
gonna
no
throw?
one.
Who are they gonna throw at Jokic though? I mean, it's gonna be tough. But I think those guys are so electric.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Jokic is really gonna like punish that small ball rotation that D'Antoni's putting through.
Skinny Jokic.
He's not like I think everybody made that way bigger than it actually was
All right.
because I think he was wearing just a tight T-shirt that day. That picture where he's talking to the press, you know what I mean? I think it was just a really good angle for him. Because you go back to that bird's eye view NBA angle, he looks like the same old Jokic,
All right.
big old honey bear. That's exactly what he looks like. But
All love to Jokic, by the way. That's Meech's guy.
definitely, I feel like you could make an MVP case for him. He's definitely like number 3 though.
You think Jokic is the third guy in MVP?
Yeah, it's like Giannis, LeBron,
I don't even know, man.
LeBron, Jokic, then Harden.
Maybe Jokic. I mean, the Clippers are still the 2 seed right now.
Yeah, but none of their players are like the most valuable player.
But
like,
Kawhi does make, even though he does sit out a lot of games, he does.
Well, that's what takes him out of the running is that he sits out of a lot of games.
Yeah, it's true. So Jokic, he's definitely going to be in there. He's in my top 5. I don't know if I would say top 3.
Jokic is definitely my top 3.
I think Chris Paul is definitely a top 5 MVP player for me this year. Because nobody was expecting that Thunder team to do absolutely anything.
Yeah.
And he really stepped it up. Remember people were saying he was the worst contract in basketball last year?
Really?
When he had that big $44 million, he had like that huge option because he had that fight with James Harden.
Well, I know he had a huge contract, but I never heard that he was the worst contract.
Yeah, I remember some people saying it was him and John Wall.
John Wall is definitely the worst contract.
Yeah, I could see that. But then Chris Paul just goes to the Thunder and he just makes them a playoff team. He's like he's taking Shea under his wing. Shea's looking really good this year.
SGA is a monster.
Yeah, Shea's doing everything, man. He can defend, do everything on offense.
That 20-20-10 stat line?
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah, I like Shea a lot. That was actually a good deal for both teams at the moment, I think, Clippers and Thunder. Clippers did give up a lot.
Yeah.
For maybe it could just be a 2-year rental of Paul George because, he's changing his mind every couple of years where he wants to go.
I don't think so. I think Paul George he's there for the long run.
You think Kawhi too?
Yeah, definitely. Because they're both home. You know what I mean? That's what they wanted to do. And they're on a really good team with a really good coach that's willing to work around their load management schedules. They have a great team.
Yeah, true. They do really. Whatever Kawhi and Paul George say, they're getting it right away.
Yeah, so I think they're staying for the long run. I just had a blank. What was I gonna say?
I was gonna say so.
To the list. We got a list of topics that we looked from.
So with the Lakers going into their first round, we obviously know that they're missing some key guards. Rondo, Avery Bradley. Bradley's not going, obviously, due to he wants to stay with his family, COVID-19, which is honestly respectable. You can't be mad at any athlete for making that decision.
No, definitely. That's a tough piece to lose.
It is, right. He's probably our best 3-and-D wing other than Danny Green. He was our starting point guard. And we obviously lost Rondo to a hand injury. He might return sometime, maybe beginning of the playoffs and beginning of the second round possibly. And honestly, he is a good piece to have. He's a good playmaker, and he does turn into a different player in the playoffs.
In all seriousness, don't count out Alex Caruso.
No, honestly, yeah. I think he's gonna be playing probably around 30 minutes a game.
For all the memes, whatever, like, and whatever, he's a really versatile defender. He's amazing on offense.
Right.
He's a great low usage passer.
I agree.
Can't talk today, man. Yeah, but he's a lot more valuable than people actually make him out to be.
Right. So KCP is gonna slide into the starting lineup. So it's gonna be KCP, Danny Green. Obviously neither of those guys are really the ball handler that Avery Bradley is. They're more 3-and-D. So LeBron's gonna be doing most of the playmaking on offense, which he already did, but he's gonna be like the main guard now.
Yeah, definitely.
And off the bench, so Caruso is going to be the main guard off the bench. But who do you think they're going to lean towards more, Waiters or Smith? Or do you think they're just going to go towards who has the hotter hand that day?
I definitely feel like it's going to be like a day-to-day thing, but I feel like what they're going to start out with, if either of them is like, if they're both playing like the same, I feel like they're going to go with JR because JR is a better defender.
Right, yeah, and him and LeBron know each other a lot more. Like their
definitely.
games coexist.
Well, Dion Waiters played on those Heat teams. Did he?
After LeBron left, he got.
Oh, after LeBron, okay.
Because he played like maybe a couple weeks with LeBron in Cleveland, but LeBron traded him out.
Okay, all right, yeah, that makes sense.
And well, not LeBron, but we all know the GM.
All right, the GM.
But also between those two guards, Smith and Waiters, they're very similar. Their games are very similar to me. 3-and-D, gets streaky. So I feel like off the bench between Caruso, Smith, and Waiters, one of those guys has to be hitting their shots that day.
Oh, definitely. I feel like Alex Caruso is going to be the most reliable out of all three of them.
Honestly, yeah, I think because he knows the team so well, he knows his role the most. That's what kind of scares me about Waiters and Smith a little bit. Sometimes they get a little too crazy with the ball. They give themselves a little ISO.
Yeah.
They turn into the Mamba real quick. And, yeah, so those two guys, like, J.R. Smith's going to definitely hit some big shots, but he's definitely going to maybe have a couple fadeaway out of bounds. Threes double contested.
Did you see that shot in that scrimmage that he did where like he like went ISO Joe real quick?
Oh, yeah.
And hit it off the backboard. Of the side of the backboard.
So
JR.
So we're going to move on to something real quick to some trades that we think that we might see happening this offseason. You think Zach LaVine's going to get moved from Chicago?
I think he's like, well, how long does he have on his contract? Because I know he's definitely not happy there.
I think he has a year after this one.
If they don't change their head coach, he's out.
Right, yeah. A lot of players don't like Jim Boylan. They want him out of Chicago.
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes him.
I've heard a lot of, like, which I can agree with. He's one of those guys who comes from Greg Popovich's coaching staff.
Yeah.
And he thinks that he could treat players like he is Greg Popovich. Like, he has just, like, that way about him, like, that old school tough mentality, but...
But the thing about Pop is 100% behind his players.
Yeah, and Pop's won before.
Yeah.
And Pop wins, and this guy, his team's not winning.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are you going to get behind this guy?
This is his first head coaching.
Right, yeah.
So, he can't be, like, he can't be talking to people the way he talks to them. I'll give him credit, though, because, like, he did hop into that fight with Robin Lopez last season. He was ready to throw hands with first players. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, so coaching change in Chicago definitely needs to happen, I think. To keep LaVine.
Definitely to keep LaVine.
So there's been some rumors, LaVine to New York City, either it's to Brooklyn or New York. So make your argument which team he fits better on right now.
He'd definitely be a better fit in New York, like
the Knicks.
Yeah, the Knicks.
All right.
But in Brooklyn, I feel like if they do trade him, it's almost like a double-edged sword because like I feel like he's not the best like locker room guy. And like.
Right. Yeah, he does like to get his shots up. It seems.
Yeah. Like he will not really locker room, but like team chemistry. I feel like he's definitely like a microwave player. Like he needs his shots to get going.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely been on teams like Minnesota, Chicago that aren't winning. They're just kind of young, developing, and he's getting all the shots that he needs to try to develop as a player. He was always the number one guy. Right. Yeah, he played alongside Cat Towns and Wiggins for a little bit. But he was a part of that team.
Yeah, definitely. But he was always getting like.
A bunch of shots, especially in Chicago.
Yeah. But like but if he goes to the Nets with Kyrie and KD, gonna be getting like what, like half that at least.
Right, yeah, and his game's definitely going to change because he's not going to be able to have that lane to himself anymore because he's going to have guys like Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan clogging up the paint down low.
Yeah.
KD and Kyrie are going to be making their magic going to the bucket. So he's going to turn into a three-point shooter at the line. He's going to obviously do his thing still.
Yeah.
He's Zach LaVine, but his game will definitely not get as many opportunities as he does in Chicago.
Unless they put him in like a Lou Williams type of situation with like
Right, and let him
with
come
like
off the bench.
yeah with do you think Dinwiddie's gonna stay?
He's a free agent this year, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't think he's going to stay at all in Brooklyn. I think he did the thing. I know that he really recruited to get Kyrie there.
Yeah.
And he got Kyrie there, but then he did that. Whatever, like if he raised so much Bitcoin, he would go to whatever team. So I feel like right there, boom, like you're not dedicated to this team.
Well, he was doing that for charity though.
Right, but like I feel like there's something else he could have did for charity than that. He barely even raised any money in the first place. But like right there,
effort.
like boom, like what if like in all seriousness, like what if that happened and they were like, oh, you're going to Cleveland to play with like Colin Sexton, like that's not really, it's not what you want to do. Like your teammates are probably looking at you in the locker room like, dude, seriously, like you're willing to leave us over like, I get it's for a great cause,
Yeah.
but he could have ran that up in another way. So I feel like he's not really down for the Nets, and I could see him going somewhere else next summer.
Yeah. I think where he does go, it's not going to be for the money. I think he's going to go there for like to win. Like I can see him going to a team like the Mavs or.
I think he needs to go somewhere where he can win. He can also start though. I don't think he likes coming off the bench as much.
Really?
I think he is playing second fiddle to Kyrie right now, obviously in Brooklyn. But every single time he gets the chance to start, he explodes, and he looks like such a great guard. And I think if he gets the chance to maybe be like in Dallas, if he was the third option to KP and Luka, I think he would really be able to show himself off more there than coming off the bench in Brooklyn.
Where do you think like he would thrive the most though? Like what system? I could see him like being great in Toronto.
Right, yeah, I like Miami too. I could see him playing in Miami.
Definitely. That's where I think Giannis is going in 2022.
I know the
Is it
Bucks.
2022 or 2021?
He has one more season after this to play.
Yeah, so next season I think he's either going to Golden State or Miami.
Right, so we just ran through Levine and Dinwiddie real quick. We're gonna move on to Victor Oladipo. What do you think is gonna happen with him? I mean, he's been that guy, Oladipo. So he looked amazing. Obviously, then he got that injury. He was an all-star before the injury.
Mm-hmm.
Then he came back, and there hasn't really been that much time to see like if he's still Oladipo or not. He hasn't really been looking like the old Oladipo when he came back.
Yeah.
Obviously, straight from injury. So they're gonna see what he does in the bubble and the playoffs, obviously. So what do you think they do with Oladipo? If he's not the same guy he was before, do you extend him? Do you try to trade him? Because maybe you extend him, and maybe it works out for you. He's the guy that he was. He turns out to him, or you give him an extension, and he's only a piece of what he was because he did have a crazy injury to him.
Yeah. What's he got coming up though? Like a max?
Like the max, not obviously like the KD, LeBron max, but the max for his level of player. Yeah, he could get that. Or do you trade him away to maybe somewhere like Miami? Cause I could see him fitting in Miami, one of those type, or send him out west maybe to the Pelicans.
I think that Indiana has like a lot of cap space. I'm not 100% sure because they don't seem like they have a lot of big contracts.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like they could afford to take the risk and just extend him for a year or two.
Right.
See
yeah.
how he is.
And not many free agents really want to go to Indiana. Let's be honest.
But they're a really good organization with great ownership, great GM.
Yeah, I like their coach too. He's helping them out a lot
definitely.
too.
So I think
Nate Thurmond, shout out.
I think Indiana would be a good place for Oladipo to stay.
Right, yeah, and they really like him out there. Their fans are really loyal. Like they like him out there, and yeah, I don't really see anybody else going out. Not necessarily out of their way to go to Indiana. So if you're a small market team, spend your money on your players. Try to keep them happy. Show loyalty so your players don't leave.
100%. But I could also see him going to like a Miami, like you said, or the Pelicans is really interesting that you said that. I don't think he'd be a good fit at all there.
Right. Why?
I feel like they have too many ball dominant like players. Like
Right,
Lonzo
right.
needs the ball, Ingram needs the ball, Zion needs the
I
ball.
think Lonzo could play off ball though. Not
Well,
necessarily scoring off ball, but
yeah. Well, I mean, for him to really get going and like, cause his his main strengths are like right now his 3-point shooting, his and his assists. Like he's like there.
right,
Yeah, he's the point guard. So like he needs the ball, and so does an Oladipo.
right. If they did that trade, I would also assume New Orleans would be getting rid of Drew Holiday. If they would also be bringing in Oladipo just for money wise, contract position wise.
I mean, I feel like that would be a. I totally forgot about Drew Holiday. Uh,
I like Drew Holiday.
I do too.
He's really good for that team with those young guys.
Yeah, he's great.
He's a great bet.
Great leadership.
For sure, for sure.
I feel like I feel like if they did like a 1-for-1 trade for Drew Holiday for Oladipo, if they knew Oladipo was leaving and like wanted to go somewhere to like compete.
Right.
I feel like that'd be a perfect trade because and Drew Holiday's brother's down there.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. There's 3 holidays in the NBA, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Chicago has one.
It's like Christmas, Hanukkah, Ramadan.
So sticking out east, Boston. So Tatum's their number 1, right?
To the finals.
To the finals. You have Boston as your finals team.
Yeah, of course I have.
In the East, I think it all depends on the matchups, who you're playing to get there. I think
100%.
So you have Boston going to the finals.
Yep.
Winning the finals.
Yep.
Winning the finals.
Winning them.
All right. So Tatum's their 1. Who's their 2? Is it Brown or Kemba?
It has to be Brown.
All right. Yeah, I like
Kemba,
those 2 together.
Kemba really he's played a decent amount of games, but like I don't think he's played enough games to really like assert his role. Because like some days like he's really kind of like a floater. Like he's like when Tatum and Brown are kind of off, like he picks it up. You know, him and Hayward pick it up. But if Jalen and Jason are on topic and on like what they need to do,
yeah, they're doing their thing together.
Kemba takes a back seat, plays a traditional point guard role.
Right. Yeah. Because Brown and Tatum are some dogs.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. They're like kind of a baby Kawhi PG.
Mm-hmm. Hayward's a free agent this year.
Right, yeah, but he's definitely going to accept that player option because nobody's going to give him that type of money.
Oh, yeah. I've never really understood player options.
Right, so when his contract's up, so he's getting paid his 30-something million. So he has the choice. So there's player and team options. A team option, the team could say, we're going to bring you back on that contract. If not, you're a free agent.
Okay.
And then the player, Gordon Hayward, thinks that he's not going to make $30-something million in free agency next year. So he's going to accept it. So he's going to go on to play 1 more year with the Celtics and become a free agent.
Okay.
You feel me?
I knew that it was like you play another year, but I didn't know how the money was. I didn't know if the money was less or more.
Right.
But I wouldn't be mad if he took his player option. I feel like it'd give us less room to work with because I'm hoping that this offseason we could pick up like an Andre Drummond or like a Steven Adams.
Right,
or even
yeah. I could see them making a move with Hayward for Adams maybe in OKC.
Yeah, but that's still like a lot of money plus CP3's huge contract.
Right, but Steven Adams has a $20-something million contract. I'm sure they can make a match.
Oh, that's true. We could probably get like a bench player to go.
Right, yeah, maybe Roberson.
I wouldn't mind that.
Roberson, yeah, bring some. Celtics are already really good. They're not necessarily that team that looks great defensively on paper. Brad Stevens like really enforces it in practice, it seems, and the Celtics really try to get down on the defensive side.
We're
of the ball.
top 5 defense.
Right, yeah. I feel like they don't back down from anybody. It's
No.
just kind of like that Boston thing too. You know what I mean? Like they're just like hard grit and grind. Like
we're definitely like the Memphis of the East.
Yeah, both of them have dunked on LeBron, Brown and Tatum.
All right.
And both of them got big on him afterwards too. They yelled at him. Like they don't back down from anybody.
Nope.
So I have something to ask you.
Okay.
So Jaylen Brown drafted 3rd in his draft class behind Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
And in the 2nd round, Pascal Siakam went in that same draft.
Yep.
So Ingram, Brown, Simmons, Siakam. How do you rank them if there was a redraft today? Who are you taking first? Don't think about the team or anything, just who's the best player out of those 4.
I'd probably take Siakam first.
Spicy P?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely... I feel like you can't go wrong with any of those guys there, but... Yeah, I think Siakam just has shown the most. He's shown the biggest jump this year.
He stays healthy, too.
Yeah, he does stay healthy.
because Ingram's like his blood clot situation and like
Right, yeah, and he has been off and on the court all year.
and he has bad knees.
Right. So who's coming in after Siakam?
Probably Brown because he also stays healthy.
Right, I would go Simmons over Jaylen Brown.
And then third, I take Simmons.
I would take Ingram at 3. So yeah, my fourth would be Brown to yours Ingram.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I think Siakam's definitely, in my opinion, I think he's the best in that draft class. Because he does it on both sides of the ball, night in, night out. He knows what it's like to be a champion. He was that number 2 to Kawhi, even though a lot of players did show up in that finals. But it was Spicy P was that second guy for Kawhi in the finals.
I think you really could have made a case for him to win Finals MVP, especially in the last couple games.
Right, and this year he's obviously first-time All-Star this year in the East. I just think Pascal Siakam took the biggest jump too, and he's leading the Raptors. Like, he's literally their best player on a team that a lot of people thought were just going to drop without Kawhi. How many teams lose their best player and are still like contending for a championship the next year? It's very hard.
But I really think that's because like everybody bought into Nick Nurse's system.
Yeah, they do. But yeah, I feel like they are. They are probably the best team in basketball, like united team.
Yep.
Like everybody comes together for the end goal. And a lot of those guys came back from last year, so they all know what it takes to win.
And a lot of people stepped up too, like Norman Powell. Who else? Who else is on the team? OG
Norman
Anunoby.
Powell. Yeah, Freddie Van Skeet.
Yeah. Yeah, all those guys, they really took a big leap.
Yeah, even some guys like Chris Boucher.
Bobby Boucher?
Some guys that like we didn't even really know. Chris Boucher came in, Terrence Davis.
Yeah.
Some guys, so they really know what to do. They up north, they're drinking something different in the water.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah, so I got Siakam, then I have Simmons second, and you have Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
I would go Simmons. I think he's definitely going to be all defensive first team this year, and he's just so versatile. Obviously, he can't shoot. We know that.
Which takes away from his versatility.
I'm talking about his defensive versatility. But his shooting isn't there yet. Who knows what it's like after the bubble, but every single season it's like Ben Simmons is coming back with a jump shot this year.
All right.
And then we just see the same Ben Simmons every year.
Well, he did make a couple of threes this season. He attempted his
first
couple.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to count like shooting 10 3, yeah, I guess that is a jump. Shooting 10 compared to 0.
Yeah.
So what's your argument for Brown over Simmons?
Brown is a offensive Swiss Army knife.
Right, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of holes in his game.
And he plays really good defense.
Right, yeah, not Simmons level.
But no, not Simmons level. He plays good team defense.
Right, yeah, he does fill in the holes very nicely with the passing lanes.
Yes. But I feel like that's the whole Celtics like defensive system is like play the passing lane.
Yeah, it's always been for Brad Stevens is just try to hide your point guard on defense. Kemba, Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie, none of them have really ever been.
Well, he doesn't have to hide Kemba as much because.
As much, of course.
Because Kemba, like he's got those really quick hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's obviously not the guy that you want guarding the best guard on the other team.
Oh no, definitely not. But if you need him just to cover let's say someone's hot.
Yeah, but I think you always try to hide Kemba compared to the other guys on that offensive team. Defensively, I think he's the worst defensive player out of the group.
Unless Enes Kanter's on the court.
Yeah, but how many times are they guarding the same player?
All right. Yeah.
Right. So who are you most excited to see after the break? After everybody's been in quarantine, skinny Jokic, we said, gray bearded LeBron.
Kawhi, fun guy.
Kawhi coming back Kawhi just doing his same thing normally.
Wearing those new Kawhi shoes.
Yeah.
Those look really good.
I don't rock with them at all.
You don't?
No, they look like they came straight out of a nursing home.
What are you talking about?
They don't look that good at all.
I like them.
So who do you think is going to be most exciting to see come out?
I really want to see Kawhi. I think Kawhi is probably the best player in the league.
Yeah. When it matters most, Kawhi always shows up.
Oh yeah.
Especially in the playoff situation. Year. Even when he was the guy in San Antonio. I mean, he dueled with LeBron in the finals. He was looking good against that crazy Warriors team with KD. Then Zaza just took the man's leg out.
Zaza up a cheap shot.
And yeah, so then after that, he kind of left the Spurs. he showed he was a dog in Toronto, and on the Clippers. As much I'm a Lakers fan, as much as I hate to say it, he the first two times they played, he definitely outdueled LeBron easy, but that third game, LeBron was looking good and Anthony Davis, but yeah, the
Well,
Battle of
Kawhi's still
LA.
playing with a bad knee.
Right, yeah, he's always gonna have that bad knee. I feel like.
I feel like next season, Kawhi is really gonna take that leap, and he's gonna be like cementing himself in the upper echelon of all NBA players all time.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't have an MVP.
Not yet.
I don't think he's ever gonna get one. He always likes to take his days off ever since he was in San Antonio. Think about it. The dude gets paid just as much money
Yep.
as the other max stars, but he plays
Like half as many games.
yeah, probably 2/3 of the games as these guys play. But I get it. It's a part of his game. They're
Yeah.
looking at the big picture. They're going for the chip.
But when it comes to the playoffs, I really feel like the NBA should do like a playoff MVP and a regular season MVP.
Right. Well, I guess that's what Finals MVP is, but not necessarily the best player in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
but if
Always
you
wins
like
the Finals.
if that Toronto team lost to the Bucks, right? You'd still have to say that Kawhi is the MVP
No, I would go.
of those playoffs.
I would go Giannis if he ended up winning the Finals.
Really?
Right, like those times that LeBron was in Cleveland going against those crazy Warriors team, putting up those crazy stats. He was the best player in the playoffs
Yeah.
statistically, but he just kept losing to those Warriors teams, and like KD outdueled him, so KD got it. Like, you know what I mean? But like, so that would be Kawhi would be missing a whole round of scoring and stuff, and adding to his stats of those playoffs, and then Giannis comes out with a championship.
But if that all right, so let's say the Bucks Raptors goes to 7,
Right.
right? And let's say
It went to 6 in real life, right?
yeah, I know, yeah.
Right.
But in the finals went like 4 or 5 games because the Bucks really would have like either like ended the Warriors or if KD just or if well, not KD if Clay came would have stayed healthy.
Right.
I feel like that it wouldn't. It's really tough to say.
Right, yeah, because injuries always depend on who you're matching up with. You can
Yeah.
never really go.
I feel
back
like
in
the
time.
Bucks would have won that series though, and I feel like they would have won it in a shorter amount of time, even if they had Clay.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. So this playoffs is gonna be interesting. We see some people obviously saying that there's gonna be an asterisk next to the title, which I don't necessarily see there being an asterisk. It might be one of the toughest championships to win.
Well, all it takes is one positive test.
Right.
And,
They're-
that person's whole season is done.
Right, they are doing a very good job keeping players testing negative for the virus.
But like if LeBron got if LeBron made it to the finals and he tested positive like right before game 1, and let's say the Celtics win, that's definitely there's definitely going to be an asterisk next to that title because
Right,
they don't
yeah.
have their most important player.
Right, but true. I also have to take it into a sense though as like injuries happen too.
Yeah.
It's all part of the game. Like we've had lockout seasons before and there's not necessarily asterisks next to those seasons.
That's true. Who won those the last lockout season? The Spurs, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. So we're gonna switch it up real quick, talk a little bit NFL.
Okay.
All right,
My weak
so
I know
So-
barely anything about football. I never watch it. It's my least favorite sport to watch.
So we're gonna be trying to turn Meech into a football fan by the end of the year. But anyway, so we're just gonna step on it quick because not much football's going on right now, as you know. Like coronavirus is dealing with a lot of the issues in sports.
Yeah. I don't think there's gonna be even a football season.
Right. Yeah. So I don't see much sports working without the bubble because people are going home to their family every night, and who knows how well they're
Yep.
maintaining, trying to stay safe by those guidelines and stuff. So really, everybody has to work together for there to be a football season. But I honestly don't see it happening without a bubble. But if it does happen, I think obviously In the AFC, Baltimore, Kansas City, those are your two top dogs right there.
Okay.
I think best quarterbacks probably in the whole conference, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. You know all about those
Yeah.
guys. Their box office, back-to-back MVPs. They know what's the deal. In the NFC is kind of deeper. There's so many teams that you kind of think could go all the way. Like Seattle, they got Russell Wilson. Pete Carroll's their coach, and they always have a great defense. They've been like that for years. They always roll with that. It's always Russell Wilson, and they give him his weapons. He never really has a lot to work with, but he always makes magic happen. Their defense is always nasty since the Legion of Boom, and they're picking up players like Jamal Adams now from the Jets, who is a really great safety, who's been causing some noise in the news. My bad. Drew Brees and the Saints, they're always going to be a team that you don't want to play in the playoffs. They got Alvin Kamara, who's a top 5 running back, Mike Thomas, a top 5 receiver, Drew Brees, a top 5 quarterback.
Yep.
So that's firepower right there. And 49ers, they could always repeat. We know that they were in the Super Bowl last year.
Mm-hmm.
So Meech, who do you think is the best team in the NFL?
The Ravens.
All right.
Maybe. I don't know.
Right, yeah, so Lamar Jackson had his first MVP year, so we're going to see how he looks coming back, kind of see how he can bounce back from that, see if teams can figure out how he's looking, how he runs the offense and stuff.
Do you think that, what's his face, Cam Newton is going to make a big impact in New England?
Right, yeah, so I'm a Patriots fan, even though I like the Lakers, so Cam Newton, I think he's going to be a lot better than Jared Stidham. That's our backup quarterback.
Okay.
He's in his second year from Auburn. He backed up Tom Brady last year, so he knows kind of the Patriot way. But Cam Newton he's Cam Newton. Like, even if he's not 100%, the dude's a linebacker playing quarterback. He's huge. He's a dog.
I like his hats.
His hats, his scarves, all that
All his
jazz.
rings.
Hopefully he wins a ring with New England. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's going to happen. But yeah, he's going to bring the Patriots offense and let them be a little bit more exciting, let them run some different options that they couldn't run with Tom Brady because, Tom Brady can't really run like that man can. So it should be exciting. I don't know if we're going to be better than we were last year. A lot of players are opting out for coronavirus, which again, you can't blame them, right?
I can't blame them at all.
Right, yeah. So in the NFL, we're going to move on to the MLB. That's probably going to be, it's not looking too good right now. I would say Miami Marlins just had a bunch of players test positive for coronavirus.
Oh, really?
Right, yeah, they had 7 players they traced it back to a stewardess on a plane. And the same thing as the NFL. I just don't see it working outside the bubble. Do you?
No, I don't see it. I don't think there's going to be an NFL season at all.
Right, same with MLB. You think it's going to get canceled?
I think they're probably going to push through it because outside, like on the field, you can do a lot of social distancing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, baseball they aren't really as close together compared to football.
I feel like baseball they could reel it back in. I feel like they're just going to finish this season because what are they playing, like 40 games?
60, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a third of a real baseball season.
Yeah, because they play like
500? 182.
Baseball's like going all year long pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely feel like they could make it work and just go with the flow. Like if people have to sit out or go home for the rest of the season, that's
right. Quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Come back, work out for a couple days, then you're back into the playing shape. That's going to be the hardest thing when you're away from sports for 2 weeks and you don't even have the time because you're not supposed to be doing any activity while you're sick.
Yeah.
So you're not really staying in I guess some guys obviously will. If you're that dedicated to your sport, you're still going to get your shots up. You're still going to be running with your ankle weights, throwing some pitches and stuff. But
yo, who's the fat guy who drinks Coca-Cola in between innings and whatever, like on the field? Like I guess he played for the Red Sox for a while.
Big Papi?
No, he's a lot fatter than him.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I guess he plays like first base.
Was this recently?
I think so. Just something I heard.
No, I have no idea who you're talking about, bro. I'm gonna say I've never seen my man Big Papi drinking Coca-Cola.
No, this guy is humongous. Like
no.
He looks like he's about like 5'8", like 300 pounds.
So moving on. So we're just talking about these sports quick. As the seasons get closer to NFL, we're gonna do some fantasy football talk. We're gonna have somebody on maybe to talk some fantasy football with us.
Sure, because I have no clue how to play fantasy football.
We're gonna definitely talk fantasy basketball.
That's
fantasy.
my wheelhouse.
We talk fantasy sports out here too. It's not just what's going on the field.
Yeah.
We'll talk about all that sports drama too going on off the field too.
Yes, sir.
But also MLB, we just touched upon that. Not much is happening in baseball right now. Astros played the Dodgers last night, and obviously the Astros cheated a couple years ago, stealing signs and stuff.
Did they play against the
Dodgers? Correct, in 2017. So Joe Kelly, the pitcher on the Dodgers, was throwing pitches at Astros players' heads yesterday, trying to hit them purposely, and then to end the inning, Joe Kelly struck out the Astros players. The Dodgers pitcher, Joe Kelly.
Yep.
Stared down Astros players, cussing them out and stuff. Like he was not having it. He was saying like, "Go sit down, you B word. We're not cussing too crazy on this pod.
This is a family show."
Yeah, rated PG. So that's pretty much what's going on in baseball right now. But college sports, man, I honestly don't see a college sports season happening right now. Do you? Not putting those players like literally lives on the line and they're getting no compensation in return.
You can't play basketball over Zoom.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if it's not even safe enough to be putting kids in a classroom, how are you going to ask them to go play a sport for free? It just makes schools look money hungry.
Unless they do a bubble.
Right.
But I don't think colleges are going to be willing to put up the money to do a bubble.
Right, yeah, and then they'd have to get all the schools in a division together, and it'd just be a huge thing. And these kids aren't even making money on it.
No, not at all. Well, I feel like, wasn't there just a law passed to let them do like advertising?
Right, yeah, so they can make some money on their name now.
Yeah, which is good. But
right,
I feel like for as much as like most of those schools are paying, are making those kids pay for tuition.
Right. Most of them earn on scholarships.
Yeah.
If they're not getting paid under the table.
Yeah, exactly. Who did that? Penny Hardaway?
Yeah, he did that for James Wiseman, and he didn't even play the rest of the year. And Wiseman looks like he's going to be an early lottery pick this year.
Yeah.
He's probably the best center in the draft, him or Onyeka Okongwu. One of those guys might end up in Golden State.
I've never actually
seen a big man.
I've never actually seen either of them play. I saw a little bit of James Wiseman when he was when they actually played college ball.
Right.
But,
yeah, because there wasn't a season this year.
Yeah, but I didn't really watch any of them through high school.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. Who have you seen? LaMelo Ball?
Of course I've seen LaMelo Ball. It's kind of hard not to see.
We've grown up with LaMelo Ball, man. It's actually kind of cool seeing him. I remember watching him when I was like a sophomore in high school. When he was in high school, just playing basketball, and now he's getting drafted. It's honestly kind of cool to see him grow up in the social media age. We might see some more kids like that, like Bronny James.
Exactly. It's kind of crazy for us to see because we're fresh out of high school. We just graduated.
Right, we're their age, and look at us. We're making a podcast in my grandma's attic, and they're making millions of dollars shooting hoops.
Exactly. It's crazy.
Yeah, so we're gonna hop back into the NBA. We took a little break from that.
Okay.
Demetrius.
Yes, sir.
Can you please talk about Six God, Sweet Lou Will, and his incident with some sweet wangs?
Disappointment. Those wings look good. I'll give him that. Not worth it though.
A 10-day quarantine.
As much as he was saying that he was just going just for dinner, I don't think that he was just going just for dinner.
Yeah, those weren't the only thighs he wanted.
I know, right? All them leg pieces. No. I think it was a very irresponsible decision by Lou Williams, especially when you're a top 3 finals contender.
Right, and he's kind of their closer.
Exactly.
He's their ISO scorer.
They need him.
Him or Montrezl Harrell is probably going to win 6th Man of the Year, in my opinion.
It's probably going to be him.
Lou Will?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't say that when we were going over our awards earlier. I think it's going to be Lou Will.
Yeah, Lou Will, he's a different type of player.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's coming off the bench and doing that and being fine with it, it's a testament to his character. But
right, yeah, I feel like those guys really get behind Lou too, and they're kind of just whatever, dude, you screwed up.
But I feel like Lou Williams spending his rookie year with Allen Iverson, Like really is really starting to like the show. It's like its effect. You know what I mean?
Their games kind of mirror each. Like Lou Will plays just like AI, not on
Probably
his level, but their games are very similar. The crossover,
probably more efficiently.
right? Yeah, definitely more efficiently. But they both have the killer crossover, just the sweet moves to the basket. They can shoot it anywhere. Nobody's guarding
They're
them.
both kind of undersized.
Undersized,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
But Allen Iverson loved the strip clubs, and I guess Lou Williams does too.
Yeah, seems it. So what do you think's gonna hurt? Who's gonna hurt the Clippers most missing these first few games?
Lou
Trez,
Williams.
Pat Bev, Lou Will. You think it's gonna be Lou Will?
Lou Williams, definitely.
Especially going up against the Lakers first game. You're putting the NBA's putting their two dogs against each other in the West.
Well, I don't think so. Those top three seeds in the West, I don't think seeding really matters.
Right, they're not gonna go hard those games either because the Lakers are up 5 games with 8 left.
I really don't think that seeding is truly important in the West.
Yeah, Lakers win 2 games and they have the one. Yeah, in the West, I don't think it's too important.
So all those teams, except for those bottom couple teams who are fighting for a playoff spot, they can really take just phone it in and
yeah, because I think
fine.
I think we know who it is. It's those 7. It's Lakers, Clippers, Mavs, Thunder in no order. Mavs, Thunder, Jazz, Rockets, Nuggets, and then it's that 8 seed that we just don't know.
All right, I take mostly that statement back. I think the Thunder really want to keep that matchup with the Jazz.
Right, I think that's like the weakest matchup out of all the teams out west.
And I think both of those teams want to stay in that position to face each other. Because what?
Wouldn't it be nice box office watching Russell Westbrook go against OKC and Chris Paul coming back to Houston in round 1?
Nice.
That would be a fun first rounder to think of.
That would be nice. It'd be actually, I think the Thunder could pull that off too.
Right, yeah, I think the Rockets, man, they're so like live by the 3, die by the 3. They could beat anybody and they could also lose to anybody in my opinion.
Like I'm surprised that they even made it as deep as they have.
Right. I liked how they changed up their offense halfway through the year.
The small ball?
Not necessarily the small ball, but just giving Russ like the whole paint, taking everybody out of the paint, giving them straight shooters.
I feel like trading Capella is like it definitely opens up the lane for Russ, but I don't like it because Capella, he's a really, really good offensive player.
So I like trading Capella for Rocco, but your backup big has to be better than Tyson Chandler.
I know, right?
In my opinion, like even if they had somebody like,
I'm surprised he's not in a nursing home right now. He's old.
Yeah, I know. They needed a better big than Like Tyson, like he was the man back in the
definitely.
day. He won a chip. He got paid in New York, so we know what Tyson Chandler did. But they needed a better backup than him to really hold down the paint because, like, break emergency in case. Like, if you're going against AD and JaVale or the Joker and Paul Millsap, like, PJ Tucker isn't going to be able to handle that down low all day long.
Definitely not. And if Harden and Russ go cold from 3, they're losing games. You know what I mean?
If Russ starts shooting 3s, they're losing games.
Facts, bro.
It's all
I'm so glad he's not shooting anymore.
Yeah,
that was sad to watch.
It was, yeah, because that's kind of what he was in OKC those last couple years. They were like, Russ, do whatever you want, man.
I know, right? But that was really sad to watch because like Russ is so good, and like he's so like I feel like he's so important to the game of basketball.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Like he's so beloved by a whole bunch of people. I feel like even OKC still loves him.
Yeah, even the people that he has beef with, they like him. Like him and Dame Lillard, they got the beef, and they're like really bros.
Well, that's not really a beef.
Yeah, it's like a hoop beef.
Yeah,
what you mean.
I don't think there's any real beef in the NBA right now, besides like Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
Right, and they try to make it like as private as they can. Out in public, they just try to make it seem like it's all good, which we obviously don't know how it is in real life.
They've only really Pat Beverly and Russ don't like each other at all.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess Russ does have a lot of problems with people.
Yeah,
Embiid.
I guess so. Does he have no problem with Embiid?
Yeah, remember they were beefing, and then
Embiid has a problem with everybody.
That's another cat. Yeah, those two guys, like, Embiid likes to run his mouth.
But Embiid's more like a troll than he is.
Yeah,
like
he got the Twitter fingers.
Yeah.
Philly. So if they make a move, who are you keeping, Embiid or Simmons?
Simmons.
Right. Okay. And what would you try to move Embiid for? Like where?
Steven Adams. You gotta replace a big with a big.
Yeah, but you need more than Steven Adams. What else do you want from OKC in that deal? Because Embiid's one of the best bigs in the leagues for sure.
Probably like Adams and Gallinari.
Yeah, I could see that, giving them some shooting. Let Simmons kind of just have that whole floor, and then spread out Al Horford too. That would be a good deal. I could see, because honestly, I don't think it's gonna work with the two of them.
No.
Together. Maybe they're actually my favorite coming out of the East this year, because I think.
Blasphemy.
I think Embiid, especially if they end up playing the Celtics round one, nobody on the Celtics I think is guarding Embiid. They don't have Al Horford. He was kind of like Al Horford went to Philly actually, but he was kind of like their Embiid wizard. Like he would lock him up. Aaron Baines was their guy to put on Embiid too. And now you're throwing it all on. Can't play defense, Cantor and Daniel Tice to guard Embiid.
Well, we got Robert Williams too. Robert Williams, he's great defensively. Got them long arms, good hops.
Yeah, but you want that on your offensive side going against Embiid?
Yeah, definitely. But you definitely can I feel like you could put certain defensive positioning. Like you're not gonna like put just like go ISO Embiid. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna do that.
Right.
Or if anything, what Brad Stevens will do is like just let Embiid get his points. Try to stop Simmons as much as you can. Lock down Josh Richardson and Al Horford.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the best you can do against Philly.
Yeah, Philly. They gotta really hope Al Horford is different than how he looked before the season ended. Because him and Embiid just didn't play well together.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe bringing him off the bench might be the move. That's what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Starting Shake Milton and Ben Simmons run the 4, which will be interesting.
Matisse Thybulle is gonna be an issue.
Yeah, he's definitely 3 and D. I like him a lot.
He's more D than 3.
Yeah, he does have the clamps. He might actually be all NBA defensive second team. I've seen some people having him there.
I wouldn't blame them because I'm so mad at the Celtics that we did not pick him up because I think we
did go pretty late.
We drafted Grant Williams before him. Grant Williams, good defensively. He's
Solid
been
NBA player.
He's been our pseudo Al Horford.
Right.
Since for the season, he's horrible offensively.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Philly's defense is there. Like, they're the truth. Josh Richardson's great defender. Simmons, great defender. Embiid, Horford, both great defenders. And then, like Demetrius said, Matisse is one of the best young defenders in the league for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So they could really throw, if they go up against a team like Toronto and their star player is Lowry and Siakam, Simmons can handle both of those guys.
Yeah.
I think he could hold his own against them. I wouldn't say lock up.
Siakam, I feel like he'd have a real issue with Siakam. Siakam has a lot of his game doesn't look good. He has a lot of really awkward moves that not a lot of people can really read.
Yeah.
And if puts him in the spin cycle, it's over. You know what I mean?
But then if you put him in the spin cycle, then you're just waiting. Then you got Embiid or Horford waiting for you down low.
Well, that's what Ibaka and Marc Gasol is for. Trying to keep him as far out of the paint as you can.
Yeah, true. They're both very good shooters. Help stretch the floor for Toronto too.
And I feel like if Philly really wants to go far, Brett Brown has to step up and has to be like, "Yo,
hold his players accountable.
You cannot be shooting threes and B. You are 7'2", 300 pounds. Get down in the paint. Why would you shoot threes when you can get the easiest shot in the game?"
Yeah, well they try to put him out on the perimeter so Simmons can have that clear lane, but that's just why I don't think they're going to work together.
I don't think they're going to go far at all.
It seems like Embiid's shooting has been going down every year.
Especially if the Celtics try to tank and get rid of that.
Yeah, right. They'd much rather play Indiana or Miami.
Because I think that who's Philly playing if everything moves down 1, right? Who'd Philly be playing?
So who's below the Celtics in the standings?
Yeah.
Miami. That's also.
I feel like
Jimmy Butler gives the Sixers a hard time every time they play.
They're gonna have a real issue. Sorry about the bus in the back.
Yeah, the Miami matches up good against a lot of teams too, because they got the 3 and D players everywhere. Iguodala was a great pickup for them. They
Yeah,
could throw him at all the best guys in the East: Tatum, Brown, Giannis. You could throw him at not for a whole game, obviously, but for a few plays here and there. Giannis, Middleton,
mm,
Simmons, all those guys that we just said. Siakam, he's a champion. He knows what it takes. Finals MVP, and he
100%,
knows his role.
1000%.
Yeah, so Andre Iguodala does play a huge part for the Heat, in my opinion.
He's great. He's an amazing player. Great leadership. He knows what it takes to get to the finals. He's been on a whole bunch of deep playoff runs with the Warriors.
Right.
I'm pretty sure those Denver teams went
Yeah,
went pretty deep.
they won a round or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he played in Philly.
Yeah, well, that was like during like the dark ages of Philly.
Right, when he was the man. He was, well, not necessarily the man, but he was their number one option, doing everything for them.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I feel like he could be like a really great like third or fourth option for them.
Right. Yeah. Especially that whole team, they could really put out like a lengthy defensive team at you pretty much whenever. Like Kendrick Nunn's a great defender. They have Butler, Iguodala, Bam Adebayo. They have all these guys that they could just throw at you to defend, like lengthy defenders,
Mm-hmm.
and they're pretty much, they probably, I think they match up the best against all the teams in the East. Them are definitely Toronto, because they're more of a team than necessarily leaning on 2 3 guys.
Yeah.
Like obviously they lean on Siakam and Butler, but they're very well coached. Spoelstra and Nick Nurse, I see them as similar teams. Yeah, so also Bol been
Bol.
looking amazing in these games before
And
the
looking like
regular
Wilt
season
Chamberlain.
starts. Looking like a mix between Wilt Chamberlain and Kevin Durant.
I know, right? He was like the all time like great player.
Yeah,
That he probably could be if he keeps at this.
a 99 overall if he was an NBA 2K.
I know, right?
But I remember before Zion was drafted, Shaq said Bol was the best player in the draft class.
Yeah, but Bol was also best friends with his
That's
son.
what I was thinking. I was like, Shaq. I'm like, Shaq's a good guy. He might just be saying that because his son's best friends with Bol.
Yeah.
But right now, Bol looks like a unicorn. Like,
I know,
he looks
right?
insane. He's hitting shots over everybody, dunking over everybody. What do you have to say about him?
I'm a Nuggets fan. I'm glad we picked him up. I feel like the Celtics should have picked him up when we had the chance of picking up Taco Fall. Taco Fall is really awkward. He doesn't look like he can run, but Bol he looks like a monster. I don't think he's gonna get very much. He's not gonna get very much play time, especially in the playoffs. But if they really need him, he's there.
Yeah, he's also eligible for Rookie of the Year next year, and you think that he can maybe go for it? Maybe does he have a chance
Yeah,
at
I
being
think
one of the
so.
best rookies next year?
If
what
the
you've seen?
if the Nuggets give him minutes, yeah.
Right, yeah, that's the thing about if he will get Nuggets minutes from the Nuggets, because they're such a deep, like, contending team. Like, they're there to win now.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
him and Michael Porter Jr. are young guys trying to develop their game.
Well, MPJ has been getting a lot of minutes.
Right.
From Denver, but I feel like he earned them. So I feel like if Bol earns them, and really shows that he can play, against like real competition, because like even like in these scrimmages, like he's like destroying benches. He's not playing
Right,
like starters.
yeah. We haven't seen any crazy highlights of him against, like, any crazy stars yet.
Yeah,
I know what
like
you
no
mean.
like he's not playing against like Steven Adams or
Or, like,
like
Gobert or
Joel
someone
Embiid.
like that. Right.
like those defensive studs that are really gonna like give him an issue. He's been like just really just taking advantage of his height against really small players.
Right, yeah. And
So-
his jump shot's nice, too. For
Yeah,
a
his
deep-
outside game is
for
really
a big
nice.
man, yeah.
I feel like his upside is Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, he does look like Kristaps Porzingis a lot, his game, from what we've been seeing recently. So that's what we have for the NBA. We're excited for it to come back tomorrow. You know what we got tomorrow's games? Who do you have winning? Lakers, Clippers?
Probably Lakers because
Yeah,
the
Clippers are going in there hurting.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
And then Pelicans and who else? I think the Pelicans gonna win. Probably
Yeah,
gonna win. Yeah.
I would go with the Pelicans too tomorrow night, and especially if they got Zion playing, because I know he is eligible to play. They're just not sure how he's going to be conditioning wise after quarantine.
Mm.
Right. So pretty much we're just gonna end this podcast up talking a little bit of this Mike Tyson fight that's gonna be coming up in a month.
Oh, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.
Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. They're both been the best pound for pound fighter on this planet. They both held the title. Who do you have at such like an old age? Who do you think is gonna win this fight?
I gotta give it to RJJ.
Roy Jones Jr. Yeah.
His last fight was 2 years ago, and
right.
he won.
Right. Yeah.
Mike Tyson, when was his last fight? At least 20 years ago.
Decades. Yeah.
Like Mike Tyson looks great. His hands look fast. His punches look like they look just as hard as ever.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's if Mike Tyson doesn't get a like really good like couple hits in the first round, it's if Roy Jones Jr. makes this fight go long, it's over.
Well, that's the thing. You think Roy Jones Jr. has a plan?
100%. They both have a plan.
Well, Mike Tyson says everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Well, I mean, I don't think Mike Tyson. Well, Mike Tyson has like his last couple fights. I don't think were against anybody as good as Roy Jones.
Right,
Jr.
right. Because Roy Jones Jr. is obviously he has the pedigree, he has the DNA of a champion, and he's been fighting recently. And I'm sure we're not seeing all these crazy videos of him like we are Mike Tyson, all over the internet on like First Take and stuff. But we know Roy Jones Jr. is still that dude.
Yeah, he's training. He's definitely training. He's definitely still in fighting shape.
Right.
Like it takes a while. I don't think it takes 2 years to get completely out of shape. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
When you live a boxer's lifestyle, like you really, it's like it's part of your nature. Like that you
I'm
want
sure
to
he's
stay.
in the gym every once in a
Yeah,
while.
at least a little bit fit.
Yeah.
So like it's not conditioning isn't going to be as much of a problem for him.
Right.
I don't know who you got. Who do you have in the
Honestly, I want to say Mike Tyson just because, like, it'd be cool to see, like, a knockout or something. Like,
yeah.
It'd be cool. But I'm going to say just Roy Jones Jr., probably TKO. I don't think it goes the full way.
I don't know if it's gonna go TKO. I think it would probably be decision, because I think those guys are really going in like trying not to like kill each other.
Right. They both have to wear headgear too, per the state. I've seen Mike Tyson say.
Which is fine.
Right. Yeah. We don't want to see these guys die out there.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mike Tyson's willing to kill him too.
Don't need a Rocky V situation. You know
They're just putting on the headgear so Mike doesn't eat his ear, bro. They're just trying to protect his ear.
Oh man, no, Mike's not crazy like that no more.
Yeah, that's true.
He started doing DMT and got chilled out.
Yeah, Mike's a cool dude now for sure.
But I feel like he still got that little bit of crazy in him, because like when he announced that he was going back to fighting, he was like, the gods of war has called me back for another battle.
Yeah, and
like
that's one dude that like. Have you ever seen those memes? It was like, would you take an uppercut from Mike Tyson for $10 million?
Oh, I definitely would.
I probably would, but I'd also probably be in a coma for a little bit.
But I'd definitely like research before like how to take the hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Google.
I time it up to like lift my head up while he's hitting, so I don't like die.
Yeah, I feel you. All right. So that's what we got for today, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back at you next week with our second episode. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram. Meech and Kolby _podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's at MEECHANDKOLBY _PODCAST. Please share us to your friends. We're trying to grow. And thank you for everybody who's listening to us. We hope you can grow with us as a podcast, grow with us as a fan base, help us grow. And we're going to be back with you next week with some more content, some NBA, some more NFL, hopefully some hip-hops dropping.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say, Meech?
Just exactly what you said, like it's a little rough right now, like sound quality and all that, but as we grow and we get to like a better place,
right,
and we have more like experience doing this, the quality will definitely increase. But for now, like this is the best we can do. We definitely gave it a good shot, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So thank you everybody for listening. We'll see you next week, and it's all love.
Yeah, peace out.